The presentation this evening is entitled Surrender and Shine Forth for the Sun. Apart from a brief introduction, it will consist of one longer integrated meditation and mystical exercise. First, I want to get up an image to show you and share with you. This is a work of art entitled Surrender by McCague. Surrender and self-mastery and spirituality involves not doing the will of others or the will of our outer self, but the will of the divine within, our true nature. It is a process of increasing identification, absorption, and merging of our outer will and nature with the divine will and nature. This surrender is a form of sacrifice, that is, to make sacred, and transmutation of the outer self for our whole nature to be activated, healed, and ennobled through the inner self. In this presentation, we will apply these keys to inner wisdom by conducting a mystical exercise and meditation on this process of surrender, celestial ascent, cosmic attunement, radiating love, and sending the healing forces to all. And finally, shining forth the living sun. Now, yesterday at the symposium, Michael Shaluli mentioned Psalm 121, verse 1, and the living God. The living God is the meaning of the poetic phrase, the living sun. The Pharaoh Akhenaten proclaimed the living sun, that is the living Ra, the living Aten, in his hymn to the sun. Indeed, that hymn was an influential forerunner of the Psalms. Also, the illustrious master and abbess, Hildegard of Bingen, sang of the living sun in her morality play, Ordo Virtutum. The living sun alludes to the divine consciousness within us and imbued throughout the cosmos, creation. It is the direct experience of our true nature, united with all in love, radiant with the healing forces of the divine, understanding and at one with all in mystical union. And by mystical and mysticism, we mean the art and science of love. We mean the development of self-mastery, harmonious living with all levels of our being, in our body, in our social relations, in our psychological makeup, in the overarching spiritual way, in our relationships with other people and our environment. Is the full maturation of the human being becoming one with the one for the divine consciousness. Now we'll prepare ourselves for a mystical exercise. We'll use the slide that's before us and one more that I'm about to show you in terms of our exercise of attuning with the cosmic, ascending to the heights of the celestial sanctum, radiating love and well-being, and ultimately shining forth the living sun. We'll find that we exist and have contact with multiple levels, from the macrocosm to the microcosm to the macrocosm. To also assist us in this way, in addition to McCague's work, Surrender, before us, let us also consider another inspiring image to Rosicrucians, namely the Rosette Nebula that is part of our Milky Way galaxy. It's classified as NGC 2244. In a way, it has a special inner significance to Rosicrucians because there's a symbol of the rose. The petals of the rose are suggested unfolding within us on the rose cross, but also suggested by these expansive views of the universe, in particular parts of it, like this nebula before us. It suggests the cosmic, and the Rosicrucians use the term cosmic to mean all natural and spiritual laws and the universal intelligence back of the cosmos. And as we grow in our depth of understanding, we become more and more attuned with the cosmic consciousness and the full range of vibrations on the cosmic keyboard to have a deeper and deeper understanding of what we're seeing, who we are, why we're here, and what our mission in life is. At this time, then, I invite you to be inspired by the work Surrender and by the Rosette Nebulae image, to turn inward now and close your eyes. Take some deep, neutral breaths as we continue the rest of our presentation as a mystical exercise and meditation. Just let go of the cares of the day. You may want to just think of them being by the doorstep of your room. Those carols will wait for you until you're finished your meditation or presentation today. We'll use this time as a mini retreat to recharge ourselves, to rejuvenate ourselves and repair ourselves. All the more able to concentrate with better intentional control so we can discharge our duties and have all our faculties of mind and body and our inner nature at our disposal to handle and embrace whatever needs to be done in growing self-mastery. Keep taking some deep neutral breaths. And by that, I mean neither holding the inhalation nor holding the exhalation. As you do the exhalation, you may particularly wish to prolong it to activate the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is a long nerve in our body that goes from the lower brain down to below the gut. And it's an important part of the communication system between our brain and our gut. I often talk about having gut feelings. Well, science is revealing more and more the deeper meaning of that, the Rosicrucians have known all along. Just take the deep, neutral breaths. They help us balance our neuro inhibition and neuro excitation, which also helps us have a balance between the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. When these things are balanced, we move towards a state of enlightenment. And the one soul and master within us can come forward all the more in the holy temple that is our body. As we become more and more relaxed, it activates the healing process in us, the capacity to make us whole. It also allows the rebooting that the brain does become slower because we're relaxed and the cortical silent period is extended. These are all some of the wonderful things that go on in the great system and order of our holy temple. So we become more and more fully ourselves, more and more attuned with the master within. Continue to take deep, neutral breaths. If you find your mind wandering, just lovingly and gently bring it back to the gentle rhythm of the breath. No judgment, it's all part of the process. As we do meditation, it improves our attentional control. So there's less wandering. It also depends on what all is going on in our life. But no matter what it is, these mini retreats soothe us as we get roughed up by the day. Also, they energize us and strengthen us. And we can all the more able to embrace situations and lessons of life as admonished and charged by us by the late Imperator H. Spencer Lewis. For as we embrace our challenges, we have a greater and greater sense of self-mastery, enjoyment in life, satisfaction, come fully more into ourselves, can be more fully ourselves. There's a deep sense not only of surprise, but also affinity of who we've been all along. And we can be of more service to others, making our lives more meaningful, but it also allows us to get the full lesson when we assist another in that lesson that we had learned earlier in our lives and incarnations. Just continue to enjoy the deep neutral breaths. It's all part of the great octaves of the cosmic keyboard. As we breathe in and out, it's just in harmony with all the great emotions within our body. It's a microcosm, but also the macrocosm. Now we'll flow into our next exercise that the Rosicrucians call the overall exercise. We're going to scan through or concentrate through our holy temple of the body, thrice bold or 3 times. This time, I invite you to be seated, your spine upright if you're not lying down. If you wish to lie down, that's okay too. As long as you can breathe in an unencumbered way, you can still meditate. The spine upright, which is part of our cosmic axis, the microcosm. Hands, palms down in the laps, knees at right angles, feet flat on the floor, the temple of the body, holy temple connecting with the temple of the earth. You take deep neutral breaths as you concentrate your attention entirely on the tips of your left toes and your right toes. Feel there as you do that, I think, an enriching tingling. Not the tingling of pins and needles indicating a lack of oxygen, but just the opposite. Feeling the vital life force, or some traditions call it prana or the chi. Particularly its positive polarity, the cosmic essence. And as you concentrate on the tips of your toes, you may wish to picture a beautiful white light there, or some other color conducive to your spiritual development at this time and healing. And move gradually through your toes and think of all the wonderful structure there, down to the atoms and the molecules, the RNA and DNA and the cells and the nerves. Feel as you think of these things and concentrate with the white light on your toes, they become more and more charged. Become more and more a spiritual being, as the traditional Rosicrucian, the master Jacob Boehme spoke of us as beings of light. Continue to move through the toes into the main body of the feet, tops and bottoms. Feel your soles, your arches, top of the foot, great system and order there with the sinew and the bones, the beautiful symmetry of it all, the mere symmetry, but also the profound meaning of symmetry in Latin, the harmonious relations of the parts to the whole that are throughout our physical and inner natures. Gradually move through the back of the foot to the heel, up through the bones there, the ankles, the lower legs. Just enjoy the exhilaration of moving through the holy temple, made in the image of the Creator, in the image of the divine. As we take the deep neutral breaths, as we move through the body, we increasingly experience how meaningful everything is around us and through us. How great and holy lessons are before us for our self-mastery and increased capacity for service. As we heal ourselves, our capacity to serve is increased. Things that are thought not possible before become possible as we work as co-agents with the cosmic, the universal intelligence available to us through that master within is housed within the temple of our body, the holy temple. Now gradually keep moving up through the legs to the knees and sense there the kneecap and the sinews and the cartilage, the joints, and all the wonderful mechanism there for our mobility and actions and service as co-agents with omniity and the divine. And gradually move up into the thighs and the upper legs, astounded by the beauty and symmetry, since the hair and the skin and the bones and the various circulatory system, autonomic nerve system, the various nerves that are going through, sending messages back and forth to the brain. Gradually move up to the midsection and feel the pressure on our mid-body on our bed or seat or however we're situated, and rise up into the vital organs and pass by. We wish to dwell for a period on the solar plexus, a great nexus of nerves, part of the great system and order between our psychic nature, our physical nature, and our overall spiritual nature. As you gradually move up through the body, you may wish to dwell in various endocrine cells, which is endocrine glands associated with the 7 psychic centers plus 5 additional secondary centers to make 12, matching on the cosmic keyboard, 7 and 5 with each octave. As you gradually move up through the vital organs, guided by the subconscious mind, which is ultimately expression of the cosmic mind within us. Keep move up, astounded by all the order that goes on there. And as we attune with the cosmic, it assists our body, the subconscious mind, to guide the music and harmony of the body for our well-being and health. Wonderful music of the holy temple. Keep gradually moving up, sensing to the spine and the nervous systems there, all the actions and motions that are going on there between the brain and the gut, various parts of our body. As you gradually move up the spine and sense the ribs, bones, a wonderful system and order there, come to the heart, the great pump, the great center of emotion and psychic impressions, a deep heartfelt nature. Be grateful for its actions, the great pumping action revealed by the Rosicrucians through the traditional Rosicrucian. Dr. Harvey, when the world was ready to know of the great circulatory system, it's a microcosm of the great circulations in the macrocosm. As we take our deep neutral breaths, we'll lower our heart rate, and we'll also increase our heart rate variability. Various changes in the heart rate that'll help harmonize us and balance the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous systems for our increased enlightenment and contact with the master within. The body likes to be relaxed. It likes to experience the harmony of the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, and is enriched by the declaration of our true nature, the master within with us. Just let it happen as we increasingly surrender through these mystical exercises. The outer self does not be concerned by the term surrender, because it'll be strengthened, become more truly itself. When it works with a co-agent with the master and the God within, it comes into its true strength, its true nature. It's not its job to guide our life. That's our deepest nature, the master within, to do that. Our outer nature, through the physical senses, through our health and well-being, through our impressions, gives important information to our deeper nature, the master within, to work in harmony to help guide us. Keep rising up into the upper part of our mid-body, the chest region, back and front, the spine. If you come up to the shoulders, refocus your attention on the tips of your fingers and feel the wonderful tingling sensation of the vital life force there, just like we're feeling in our toes now. You may wish to continue to picture the white light, or whatever color you've chosen that's conducive to your well-being now. Move through your fingers just like you move through your toes. Through the joints, the sinew, the cells, the atoms, the RNA, the DNA, the nervous system. All the actions of the circulating blood coming and going from the heart. Move up to the knuckles and the main body of the hand, passing through the thumb, palm of the hand, the back of the hand, inside the hand. You need to concentrate there as you move up towards your wrists and through to the lower arms, your elbows, the upper arms, biceps, gradually back, armpits, and the shoulders where we left off. And once you reach your shoulders, move in to the nape of your neck, at the back of your neck, a great nexus of the nervous system, an important center for spiritual attunement. Concentrate for a time now on the nape of your neck, feeling the charge there of the psychic forces of the vital life force, helping attune us with higher and higher octaves of the cosmic keyboard. increasingly spiritualize our nature. And rise up now through the neck. Great joining point between the shoulders and the head. And move up past the Adam's apple, the thyroid, its great actions of regulation, back of the neck, the continuation of the nervous system up from the spine, throat, the vocal cords, and all the great work that they do for us in gratitude. And reach the lower part of the head, the throat, the jaw, the back of the head, the lower teeth, the gums there, the tongue, the upper teeth, the gums there, the upper lower lips, back through the head, this lower part. Keep rising up and you feel the air and the vital life force coming in our nostrils. Concentrate on your face, eyes, the eyelids, the eyebrows. Move back into the brain. Sense there the trillion connections connect us with the cosmos as a microcosm. And then between our eyebrows with the traditional place of the third eye, and then move back into the brain to the two endocrine glands, the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. Spend some time now with the whole brain and those center part of the brain with the pituitary gland. It's great functions for us of both physical and psychic nature. And then the pineal gland at the center of our brain, about the size of a pea. Concentrate on it. Known as the seat of the soul by such traditional Rosicrucians as René Descartes. Take a little extra time on the pineal gland and its secretions, the great elixir that it gives forth. Tune us with the highest rates of the cosmic keyboard to be dampened down for the holy temple to interpret through the subjective mind, the objective mind through the subconscious mind and its symbols. Now move to the upper part of the brain, the forehead, scalp. You can feel the psychic and electromagnetic energy radiating out from the top of the head. And when you've reached the top of the head, we'll go through the body 2 more times, and I'll say less as you go through more on your own. But as you now focus again, white light and all your concentration on the tips of your toes. Gradually move through your body, taking in the whole foot, the ankles, and moving up into the lower leg, and the knees and the thighs, mid-body, gradually up through the mid-body, increasingly sensing the vital life force tingling and enriching in a healing tonic way. So move up through past the heart, come to the chest and the shoulders. When you've reached there, focus on the tips of your fingers and gradually move through them, just like we move through the feet and the legs, through the hand, the wrist, the lower arms, the elbows, the upper arms and bicep. Gradually come back to the shoulders. And then move up through the neck, past the thyroid, into the lower part of the head, mid-head, remembering the pituitary gland and the pineal gland especially. And the upper part of the head. And when you're ready, let's go through your body one more time, holy temple, starting with the tips of the toes. Feeling increasingly the flow of the vital life force and its tingling. So move through the feet, the lower legs, knee, the upper leg, the mid-body, through the mid-body and the upper chest, back to the shoulders and the tips of the fingers, through the arms, lower arm, elbow and upper arm, back to the shoulders, through the neck, to the lower head, to the mid-head and the pituitary gland and the pineal gland, the upper part of the head, scalp, and the hair. Now we'll continue with our third exercise in this integrated mystical exercise and meditation. We'll ascend now to the heights of the celestial sanctum. We'll follow the booklet Liber 777 in an adapted way, along with the meditation at the center of the universe exercise by past Grand Master Donna G. O'Neill. Let us say together now, in preparation for our ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum, attuned in pureness and in worthiness. So mote it be. Now let's picture ourselves having a tiny sphere around us. Picture the sphere very small at this time, encompassing one atom in our body, but it'll be representative of all the atoms in our body. Put your entire concentration on that atom and circle around it in a counterclockwise way 12 times. If you may wish to count them, or sense that you've moved 12 times around the atom, circling in a counterclockwise fashion. Gradually, as we come to the close of the 12th circumambulation around the atom, picture a molecule in your body that contains that atom, representative of all the molecules in the Holy Temple. And circle around that molecule in a counterclockwise way 12 times. Or what you sense is 12 times. And when you've completed that motion, picture a cell that contains that molecule and atom. It has its positively charged center and its negatively charged outer ring. Put your entire concentration on that cell, representative of all the cells making up the great body of the Holy Temple. Circumambulate or rotate around in a counterclockwise fashion that cell 12 times. I think as you do that, I think you'll find that all your cells in your body are being charged. Now let's keep moving up in the microcosmic scale. Let's put a sphere of white light around our holy temple, our body, made up of all those cells, centered on the heart, and circumambulate, to go circulate around 12 times around the heart and the holy temple of the body. Now let's continue to expand our awareness out again. Expand the sphere to take in the entire earth, the temple of the earth, from the temple, the body, the holy temple, to the temple of the earth. And sense the beautiful blue jewel that the white light sphere is surrounding. And sense the rotations of the earth. And rotate around the earth counterclockwise 12 times. Now expand your awareness again from the earth to the entire solar system. Take in the whole solar system, centered on the sun, connected to our heart. And circumambulate, rotate in a counterclockwise fashion, great rapidity but ease, 12 times around the sun and the outer reaches of the solar system. And now let's expand our awareness again as we finish our 12th rotation around the sun and the solar system to take in all the stars and the Rosette Nebulae and other nebulae that are within our home, the Milky Way galaxy, the great spiraling arms of the galaxy. Expand out beyond the myriad stars and nebulae, interstellar gases, quasars and pulsars and black holes, supernovae, a great luminous white sphere to encompass the entire Milky Way galaxy. Sense our mind expanding into this great sphere of white light encompassing our local galaxy. And rotate, circumambulate the Milky Way galaxy 12 times counterclockwise. Great speed and ease. And when you're ready, let's expand out again. Let's take in not only our galaxy, but our local cluster of galaxies. Go by with great speed, myriad galaxies, and encompassing the sphere, the entire cluster of galaxies, not only our Milky Way galaxy, but all other galaxies in our local cluster. And circumambulate through this great sphere of white light encompassing the cluster of galaxies 12 times in a counterclockwise fashion. Expand our mind out to encompass the entire cluster. And when you're ready, you made the 12 rotations of the cluster. Expand out again the great sphere of light, with great speed past many galaxies and clusters of galaxies. To take in the local supercluster of galaxies and go around it 12 times. And expand your mind out to take in this clusters of galaxies. In awe of its vastness. Great speed and energy, but ease. Go around it 12 times in your mind. But still have it centered on your heart. And now when you're ready, expand out again the great sphere of light to take in the entirety of the cosmos, centered onto your heart. And see all around you the great rotation about a cosmic axis and many superclusters of galaxies going about in a great harmony of the spheres, a great system and order. Sense through your psychic faculties all the full range octaves of the cosmic keyboard and the tremendous symphony of the cosmos. As you see the superclusters of galaxies, the clusters and clusters of galaxies going about the great cosmic axis. And at its midpoint is our holy temple, the heart, and our cosmic axis, our spine. At the center point is our celestial sanctum, the center of our being, at the center of the cosmos. As you look out at the stupendous order and sounds and music and sights and all the higher senses of the psychic nature, be astounded and exhilarated. Feel the life force flowing all the more through us. Picture there your celestial sanctum, a holy sacred place special to you. Maybe an inspiring temple, a special place in nature, or just simply this view of the cosmos at its center. Feel in the sights and the sounds, the special symbols you may wish to have there, and sense the presence of all those other seekers, presence on this teleconference, and all the students of the Rosicrucians, all the seekers, our imperator, grand masters and officers, invisible masters, all with us, communing with the cosmic. Your mind is expanded out to the entire cosmos. Take some time now to further surrender, to totally open to the divine within, merging the mind even more with the cosmic mind, filling the cosmos. We dwell in deep silence now. As we did the successive 12-fold windings, we were applying on another plane, maybe an experiment you did as a child, where you wound a copper wire around an iron nail and you attached the copper wire to a dry cell battery, and lo and behold, the nail became an electromagnet. Or maybe you, at time, rotated very rapidly through steam power or other means. A magnet that was inside a coil wire that led to a light bulb, and lo and behold, the light flashed on, generating electricity by the spinning of the magnet. Similarly with our rotations about the very microcosmic and macrocosmic scale, we've generated a great force in the heart that is revealed to us. The illumined master, Jacob Boehme, but also our Grand Lodge officer, Dr. Lonnie Edwards, the rotation and spiraling about the heart and the mind. Similarly, we've done so now. Feel the great heart energy that's charged now through those operations will apply shortly in service, in metaphysical aid. But just let the living Son of the Master within declare itself all the more as we surrender the outer nature, assured that we become strengthened, more truthfully ourselves in this action. Just let it unfold. Feel whatever there is to feel. Keep centered on the breath, the center of the cosmos, the center of your being. Now, as the living Son, the dynamic, loving, and all-knowing every energy of the divine consciousness increasingly declares itself, let us participate in the work of the Silent Council, in conjunction with the Council of Solace, to radiate love and well-being to all those who petitioned our Grand Lodge for guidance and for healing, and all those of your affiliate bodies that have likewise petitioned, and all those that you know living beings that are in need of assistance. And all beings throughout the cosmos are in assistance. Radiate love and well-being to them all now. Just let it flow out from within you. The outer nature acting as a channel. Great work is being done on the infinite plane, the divine consciousness. Just let it flow out, the living sun. Great radiation throughout the cosmos. Sensing your mind throughout the cosmos, assisting in the healing forces of nature throughout the cosmos for all in need. Just let it flow out from this deep, still center. At some point, I think you'll find that the energy flows very rapidly and smoothly, and you won't have to continue without conscious effort on your part. When that happens, just continue to surrender and be in awe of the flowing force throughout the cosmos to all in need. Similar to Michael Albury's inspiring image of surrender. I think you'll find as the love and well-being flows out from the center of the cosmos, fills your holy temple and entire cosmos, increased realization, the cosmic, the living sun throughout creation. As the divine word goes forth and maintains creation, just as our breath goes in and out from the holy temple. At a certain point, I think you'll find the flowing, the love and well-being will go even faster, even stronger. Just let it happen and continue to surrender. All the more receptive to the realization of the actuality, the law of vibration, coming into increasing consciousness through our realization. Now, with great spiritual inner energy, draw forth even more the living sun to radiate throughout the cosmos, brightening the entire cosmos in the highest rates of vibration, highest levels can be worked upon. Seeing the cosmos as this great radiant light, the living sun throughout creation. In awe and exaltation of this matter and surrender to it entirely. Healing and making whole all sentient beings in need. And one with the one. Conscious of the Christ principle. Cosmic consciousness. Let the living sun continue to flow and radiate. Spoken of by the August Master, Hildegard of Bingen, Queen Nefertiti, Pharaoh Akhenaten. Must be one with them and one in mystical union. Our birthright. And where we always are. Let us continue to dwell in this deep silence and radiations of the living sun, divine consciousness within and imbued throughout and beyond creation. Continue to dwell at this deep center, our being and of all, radiating the living sun. We'll soon begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Let us formally conclude first our period of metaphysical aid in conjunction with the Silent Council, the Council of Solace of the Grand Lodge of the Rosicrucian Order Amok. We'll say, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done, so mote it be. And now, fratres and sorors and participants will gradually descend from the heights of the celestial sanctum. Let us pass through the successive spheres of the microcosm and macrocosms, moving from the center of the cosmos, seeing all the superclusters around us as the sphere, white light, decreases in size, past all the superclusters to the one supercluster where we dwell, and then into the cluster where we dwell, then back into the Milky Way galaxy, our home, past the myriad stars and stellar phenomena, nebulae, pulsars, the quasars, supernovae. We see in the distance our solar galaxies and solar system. Beautiful star, the sun, beautiful blue jewel of the earth, the temple of the earth. We come to the earth, come back, decreasing the sphere of white light to take in the hemisphere where you dwell, the continent where you dwell, the nation or country where you dwell, the province or state where you dwell. Continue to reduce the size of the sphere of white light. See the city where you dwell. Reduce the sphere of light further back. And we can say together, may the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. And now let us gradually decrease the sphere of white light as we move back into our neighborhood. And then back to our home dwelling, into the room where we left off and where we're seated or lying down. And gradually reduce the white sphere down to a point. And when you're ready, you may wish to stretch and open your eyes, rejuvenated, remade, and repaired, all the more attuned with living sun. The divine consciousness within expresses itself in a balanced way through our objective mind, subjective mind, subconscious mind, and the cosmic mind at one with us in self-mastery. At this time, I thank Sora Karen, who has posted some resources for you in the chat. You can download them as a PDF document. You can also copy and paste them as we pasted in as long message in the chat for you. If you wish to get those now, you can do so. As you're doing that, I'd like to thank you for all that you are doing for your self-mastery and the self-mastery of others. Also, I'd like to thank you for all that you do, seen and unseen, in service, at one with the one, and the one soul altogether. Thank you. Peace profound.